the first project we have to talk to you about is a multi-level home located in Burnsville. Lars and Marlene had lived there. They built the home in 1990. They raised their 3 children there. They have 2 daughters and a son. And since then, their daughters and son have started their own family. So their family has grown quite a bit. When they started, when they built this house, they really didn't anticipate staying there forever. However, they really fell in love with the neighborhood. They're located on a beautiful pond with a walking path, and there's a lot of amenities nearby. So they really enjoy it. So they were past clients of New Spaces. They worked with us a few years ago to remodel their master bathroom. And then they invited me into their home in July because they were considering doing this remodel to make their main level more usable. The space was quite divided. They had a wall between the 2 spaces, so it was very difficult for even the 5 of them to eat together, the 6 of them to eat together. So now they can all eat together, and their grandkids can eat with them as well. So it's fantastic. So yeah. Okay, I'm gonna turn it over to Jamie, sorry.
All right, so here's a photo of the exterior of the home that we remodeled. The kitchen is at the front of the house. The front door, the kitchen sink is right in front of this lovely boxed out window. And then this is a really cute little sunroom that they use as a dinette area. So I'll give you a better idea of that once we're inside the house. Hopefully this will start working for me here. There we go. Jen, did you want to touch on the needs, wants, and wishes at all? Or should
Sure.
I go?
You actually go ahead and do it, Jamie. I'm sorry.
Go into this or the plans?
You can go through you want me to do the needs, wants, and wishes? I can do that.
Sure.
Okay, so they were really looking for a place where they could entertain at least 10 times a year. They host their big family events. They also love to cook together, so they wanted enough countertop space that they could have everybody, you know, kind of working together, multiple cooks in the kitchen. They really needed more drawer storage, and they wanted a new front door and an updated entry area so that everybody who came to visit would have a place to kind of hang their coats and kick off their shoes. So those were their goals when they originally came to us. They also shared that they really thought they were going to need an addition when we started doing this project. That's what they thought. We ended up showing them a plan that worked without an addition. We showed them an option with an addition, and they ended up going with something that didn't require that. So that was pretty exciting for them. So over to you.
Okay, great. Thanks, Jen.
You're welcome.
So on the screen now, you will see the kitchen and main level plan the way it was before when we first started visiting with Lars and Marlene. As you come in the front door, there's a very spacious front entry. This whole level has a tall vaulted ceiling. So while it feels really large, these partition walls that contained the kitchen really made the space feel small and confined. The stairs going up and down you'll see here, as well as more of a formal dining space at the back of the home. And like Jen mentioned, this house sits on a really beautiful lot in Burnsville, backs up to a gorgeous nature setting. And so that view was really lost from the kitchen where this family spent a lot of time together. Over here on the side is where I have that little sunroom shown. They had a table and chairs in there as well, so multiple eating areas, but neither of which were really spacious enough for their whole family to sit together. Marlene also expressed that, you know, when she was in the kitchen cooking, not only was there not a lot of room for anybody to hang out in there with her, but she felt really cut off from everyone in the dining room. So opening up in some way was really a huge goal. As you'll see here, this little red box is representing a post that went all the way to the ceiling in this space. And we work in multi-level homes in the South Metro all the time. And so both Jen and I were very convinced that this was not a structural post and that we'd very easily be able to remove it, take the walls out, as we've done in the past many, many times. But ultimately, during our design process, we discovered that it was not decorative at all. It was literally carrying the load of a portion of their roof. So it was very critical. So I'm going to move to the next slide here to show you the after plan that we came up with. And in terms of that post, we were able to shift that load and relocate the post to the bottom of the stairs right here so that all those walls could be eliminated for this new open concept kitchen. So the main portion of the kitchen here where the sink and the stove are remained in a similar position. This wall moved to make the entry just a little bit more compact and gain a little bit of space in the kitchen. And then 2 islands make this space feel really, has really great flow and a lot of flexibility. The smaller island here in the kitchen area is a great work surface and really part of that working kitchen, whereas this larger island is more decorative and definitely more meant for comfortable seating and gathering. The Nook still functions, as their main dining space now, but we have room to expand the table for a larger group at any time. The fridge is up here on this wall with some really beautiful built-ins, but those are definitely better shown in pictures. So I'm going to show you some before photos first so you can get familiar with the space, and then I'll show you what the space looks like now that we've remodeled it. And please, as I'm going through these photos, if you guys have any questions or comments, please raise your hand or send them to us in a chat. So what we're looking at here in this photo is a view from that Nook toward the front door. Well, we were. Bear with me for 1 second here. This just does not want to behave tonight. Okay. Okay, we're back in action. So as I was saying, from the Nook, kind of going toward the front door, this is their kitchen. Small island, not really room for much seating. That range is in the same position, and then the fridge and pantry wall over here. Here's that post that I was talking about, that very important post that's holding up the roof. So I'll show you that in another view later on as well. They had painted their existing cabinets and put in new countertops a handful of years ago just to try to update the space a little bit. But as Jen was saying, now they decided that they really were ready to make some bigger changes. So this is the view from standing in the front entry out toward that Nook. Again, really great natural light in that sunroom. It's a beautiful, really cozy spot for breakfast and whatnot. This is the dining room at the back of the home. Again, you can see that beautiful nature view out the back. Okay, so here's a view of the plan after. So what a huge difference it makes, of course, to take out all those walls. Now we've got this grand open kitchen and eating area with lots of flexibility. You can just imagine a family gathering in here. I opted to make this opening to the Nook as wide as possible and add a little arch just for some architecture and to add a little softness to the otherwise really vast and angular space. The refrigerator is built in, like we do in many of our remodels, and then you got a little peek of that built-in hutch area as well. So here's a view toward that kitchen window. Similar layout as it was before, with that centered sink at the front, nice pop of color in the sunroom. One thing I'll mention in this particular view is the combination of countertops that were used. So we have a really durable, low maintenance quartz on the main part of the working kitchen, but then opted to do a really warm walnut top on the seating island to make it feel just a little bit more like a piece of furniture where people would be sitting. That top would be warmer, and just really adds a really nice focal point to the space. Here's another view of that built-in wall. Lit glass cabinets for display and a nice little buffet area. They are big coffee drinkers, so this is where they keep their daily coffee for every morning. We also opted to enamel their big, beautiful patio door to match all of the new cabinetry, so everything blends really seamlessly in the space. Here's another great overall view. Another thing I'll mention about this project is before, in this small area, there were at least two, if not three different flooring materials being used, which really made the spaces feel even smaller because it was so disconnected and chopped up. So we installed an all-new solid hickory floor. It's got beautiful variation, so it ties in the honey oak of their railings with the new walnut and enameled finishes. It really makes everything feel so cohesive. Here's a view into their new and improved dining nook. We put a really bold blue color on the walls for that pop of color, and also to tie in some of the details in Marlene's dishware. They are of Swedish heritage and have lots of cookware and dishware with that classic blue patterns. So that was a no-brainer in terms of color choice in this space. We also added a reclaimed whitewashed wood paneling on the ceiling. It just really warms it up and covered up the popcorn in there in just a different way. So here's one last view of that kitchen here. I think this might be one of the only views where we actually showed you the range in this kitchen. So lots of countertop, lots of workspace, and then just saved a really compact amount of space for that not so frequently used microwave. So this slide has some great photos of some of the interior cabinetry features that we are using in kitchens all the time now. I'm sure some of you would love to have more big deep drawers in your kitchens. I know those are definitely a trend right now. I also like a rollout tray in the bottom of a large cabinet like this for small appliances. It's really ergonomic and easy to access in a space like that. So here's one more view of that post we mentioned. This is from the dining room before, so you can see where that came up, and what that is holding up is a roof truss that runs this right along here. So we were able to relocate it to this corner of the stair, and you'll see it in this view here. And we decided to wrap it in beadboard and add a little bit of trim just to tie it together with the wainscoting detail that we installed in their front entry. Since this wall did move just a little ways in, making that entry a little bit smaller, instead of having a piece of furniture there, we decided to do the more built-in hook strip here for coats and visitors' coats. We also installed this brand new front entry door in a very clean craftsman style. That picture, it has not yet been stained, but really, really nice style. So here's a photo of that master bathroom that Jen said. This is the first project we did for this family. It was kind of your typical 3/4 master bath where people say, you know, in this small space, how do we get more storage? And what we opted to do in this particular home was, you'll see these cabinets down here, they actually bump into their garage space in the attic of their garage just about 2 feet to get them quite a lot of storage in this little bathroom. So really it's kind of like his and hers mirrors if they did need to share. So here's one more detail of that bathroom inside the shower. A couple of really nice custom niches. You'll see everybody loves those. Little spot for all your shampoos and potions and whatnot. So that is our Burnsville Showcase house. Do you guys have any questions or comments? We'd love to hear from you.
All right, like we got one here. All right, so we got just trying to unmute. Okay, yeah, so you have a question for us?
I have one.
Yes.
So how hard is it to take down those walls that you took down to open up the space? And does that add more time to the project? Does it add a significant cost change to the project?
Yeah, good question. So in this particular case, I originally thought it would be very simple because I didn't think that there was any structure involved. But once the structure is involved, there is quite a bit more thought and planning that goes into the, into the project. Cost-wise, definitely does and can add cost to a project. It just depends on the house, on how much cost it is. A lot of times it's having to deal with the cost of additional flooring and ceiling work. What was I going to say about the post?
I would also add that a lot of times the cost is not so much in opening up the wall or anything like that. It is oftentimes related to if there's plumbing, heating, electric in that wall, and that has to be rerouted because we're opening that up. That can oftentimes be a larger cost than the actual wall. In this situation, our lead carpenter during the design, during our walkthrough process, was able to identify that this was structural, and then work with the lumber yard to do the calculations to make sure that we could move that post over to the corner there. So, we had some materials and work obviously to do that, but we fortunately didn't have a ton of heating runs or electrical to reroute for this for taking those out. Any other questions? Jamie, one of the things that I'm always curious about, because we see it occasionally, I think is a really unique feature, is the double island. Can you explain how people are using those nowadays?
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is maybe the second project that I've done 2 islands on. And what I find is some spaces are just really difficult to get a single island designed into the space because circulation is so important. You don't want to put an island in that's too big or too small because it's all about function. I had designed this space a number of ways with a single island in a couple of different shapes, but ultimately it just felt like no matter where you were just trying to get around it. So by splitting it in two, it really solved a lot of issues, because now the family can move through the space much more comfortably and have functional counter spaces in both areas where they need it most.
Great, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I might be wrong here, but I think we might actually have Marlene has joined us.
He has.
Let me see if I can unmute Marlene for a second if she wants to say anything about her project or her team here.
Well, can you hear me?
We can.
Yeah, welcome.
Hi,
Thanks for joining
Marlene.
us.
Hey, Marlene.
I'm sorry I'm late, but
That's okay.
yeah, I can't say enough good. Where I'm sitting in the new space right now up at the counter. So it's become an eating sort of working place for us. And it's just like we imagined and envisioned and dreamed it would be. We look out over the pond. We see the whole space. Yeah, we're just loving it. I'm serious. We just love it. So thanks, guys. Yep, you had the vision and you made it happen.
Oh, I'm so glad you're happy, Marlene. You guys are just the best. You're so wonderful to work with. You're going to have to find something else to remodel.
I don't know what, but you never know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your kind words.
Anytime.
Well, thank you very much for joining us. We really appreciate having you here and obviously the opportunity to show off the project. We're very, very proud of the work we did there, and it looks fantastic. So I'm glad you're enjoying it.
Yes. Yep. You should be proud, and we are really enjoying it. So we're looking forward to being letting some other people enjoy it too, but that'll happen someday.
Someday, hopefully not too far future. So it's I know it was designed to host large events and grandkids and all of that. So
Great.
yeah, get to use it eventually here.
Yes. Thanks.
Thank you. Well, I think we're gonna jump into our second project. I'm gonna turn it over to Bjorn to introduce that project here.
Sure. Thank you, Sean. I think I have the controls here.
All right.
And our next project that we're going to review is of a little bit older vintage. This is a classic Edina 1950s Rambler. And our homeowners, it was a family of 4 humans and 2 canines. And they had been in the house for about 20 years, almost 20 years. So you can imagine if you have an original 50s kitchen and it needed some help. So what we did in this project, what it consisted of was a full kitchen remodel, a complete overhaul. And we also did kitchen windows, and we did some exterior siding details on the front facade. And we did a new front entry door system and a garage service door system. And these 50s Ramblers are actually some of my absolute favorites because they're usually extremely well built. They are just not laid out the way that people want to live today in terms of the space plan. And Sean, I think you're going to have to help me and forward the slides because it's not listening to me.
I will take care of it for you.
I can only do one thing at the same time. So here we are. This is how we found this gem. And you have probably all seen these Ramblers. And you have your kitchen and a really small kitchen and a dinette that sits to the front of the house there to the right of where you walk in the front door. So this is how we found it. And if you want to go to the next slide, Sean, I'll talk a little bit about the needs and wants and the wishes of these homeowners. The kitchen in these 50s homes, they're extremely compartmentalized, and the connection to the rest of the areas are pretty limited. And you saw the front facade. When Jamie will take you through the interior, you're going to see that these guys really needed some help. It was a tired kitchen, and that's what it does when we're in the 50s. Some of the important things on the needs were more countertop space. There was just not enough to do the work, and not enough cabinetry and storage space. Sometimes we really, probably the most popular want and the wish that we get is the center island. And in this case, you're going to see how Jamie dealt with it, because we have a really center staircase that sits in the middle of everything. That was a little bit of a challenge. And another thing I would like you to pay attention as Jamie goes through the slides is this kitchen had 3 access points coming into it. A garage service door coming in from the garage, and then 2 other door openings. And that always makes it a little bit challenging. And then in terms of the dream or the wish that they would have looked for, they always wanted a butler's pantry. And I think that was executed really well. A nice beverage bar, butler's pantry. And they even squeezed in a little barn door onto the wish list. So Jamie will cover all of those things with you. Yeah, I think you'll enjoy it. It really will show you how you can deal with the 50s Rambler without, starting completely over. Nice little transformation. Jamie, take it away.
Thanks, Bjorn. Okay, so the slide that you see on the screen now is a rendering from our 3D drafting software that we use called Chief Architect. And this gives you a little idea of how the exterior was updated. All the windows on the front of the house were replaced, so we were able to update the color of the trim and brighten it up quite a bit. Some nice shake siding was installed on the gable just to add a little bit of interest and break it up. The windows here, these 2 windows were installed at a shorter height so that it would accommodate new kitchen countertop in front of it, and I'll see more about that coming up. And then these deep soffits on these Ramblers provide a great opportunity to add some accent lighting. So instead of just that floodlight on the front of the house, you get this soft, well-lit front facade from the street. So that's just a little bit about the exterior. Let's see if the PowerPoint will let me control. Take control.
Nope, it goes right back.
It keeps doing that. It's okay. We'll try it again. Okay. See, I'm going to whip it into shape. All right. So here's our before floor plan. Here's that front door that we saw in that exterior view, and the kitchen windows on that front bump out. The sink, as you can see, the kitchen is quite compact, tucked into this side. And then here's the 2 larger windows in this very tiny little dinette space. They actually just had furniture in here because it was ultimately too small to accommodate their family comfortably as an actual dining area. And what this home has that was a little bit unique was this larger room on the back that they used as a dining room. So that is where they had a table and chairs and could really spread out at holidays and things like that. As for the doorways, like Bjorn mentioned, there's a door coming in, of course, from the front, another pocket door that led to the living room at the back of the home, and then a garage door into the kitchen as well. So what's kind of peculiar is there is an additional service door at the back of the garage as well, and this is where what the family used most frequently. There was a closet back here, so this was kind of where they came in and dropped their stuff every day. So this door was essentially obsolete, but was, really preventing a lot of function in their existing kitchen. So in order to improve this space and get a much larger, more functional kitchen, I decided to, like I said, shorten these 2 windows and center the sink at this end of the kitchen instead. By placing the range at the center of this back wall here, it creates a really great focal point with the fridge next to it, here you go, you've got this perfect working kitchen triangle right there. This new center island also creates additional work surface right where you need it most. This pocket door stayed the same. That location didn't change. However, I did add 2 wide openings and then framed in a wall here with a matching opening to create that butler's pantry that Bjorn was mentioning. So one of the first times I went to this house, I noticed right away they have this really charming built-in cabinet that was original to the home. So I definitely wanted to keep that in place and make it feel really special and important. And by building the butler's pantry in that location, I really think that it worked. A couple more pass-throughs were framed over the center staircase, again, creating that visual connection from the front to the back of the house. It really just made the family feel like, you know, they were hanging out with each other, even if they weren't in the same room. So let's take a look at what this place looked like before. Here is a picture of that very cramped original kitchen up in the other corner of the space. Soffits in an already 8-foot ceiling, you know, really limited their cabinet storage. Worn finishes that just plain needed updating. The old Formica had seen better days. So here's an after of what that particular corner looks like now. The sink is on the other end of the kitchen, and we've got new windows and a huge cabinet with an appliance garage tucked in the corner. Whenever there's an opportunity, I love a cabinet like this where there's no bottom, so you can put your toaster or your stand mixer in there and not have to deal with the ledge of a cabinet, but it's truly just really easy to get in and out right at the counter height. Here is the overall of this new kitchen, quite a difference. We chose to do 2 finishes of cabinetry in this particular kitchen. We did a darker stained base with bright enameled uppers, as well as the nice bright enameled island as well. Ironically, this kitchen as well has a walnut island top. Again, that variation in the walnut is so nice and works so well when tying different woodwork together. This particular family has a dark engineered wood floor in the back of the home, so we tried to mirror that with the dark finish on the cabinetry and then something with some variation on that countertop. This might be my favorite before picture ever, because I don't think I've ever in my career seen a microwave mounted up that high. You would have to be 6 feet tall to reach your bowl of melted butter. So as soon as I met these homeowners, I knew if nothing else that needed to be remedied. And here on the right side of the screen here, you'll see that little built-in I was mentioning. It has the little drawers in the bottom. The trim matches all the trim in the rest of the home. The glass front, Amy had lots of her favorite glassware and dishes stored in there. So I could tell that that was kind of a special spot that they used and they liked, and I really wanted to keep that in the new design. See, okay. I think I saw a question about flooring. This is a great, a good photo to explain that. So I did mention that there's a dark wood flooring in the back of the house, but they have 2 really big dogs and wanted something very durable and almost waterproof if possible in the kitchen so that they didn't have to worry about it. They had a vinyl, an old linoleum floor that did not hold up well, and so they really knew that in this new kitchen they needed something that was gonna stand the test of time. So what this flooring that you're seeing here is a luxury vinyl tile. It's a thinner material than a porcelain. It's very, very durable. It's glued down, and it comes in 12 by 24 inch planks, similar to like a large porcelain tile. And this one I really like because it's not really trying to look like anything. It's not trying to be wood or trying to be stone. It almost has like a linen-y or kind of fabric-like pattern. So that is what the flooring is. And just send me another message if you have any follow-up questions on that. What you'll also notice in this particular view is the new viewpoints and sight lines through to the rest of the home. Here's those big pass-throughs. The staircase is right down below here, so you've got that great connection to the family room. And then these arched openings really frame in that little butler's pantry. As you'll see, there's the little wine cubes and a beverage fridge tucked in there as well.
Jamie, talk a little bit about that garage access and how that made that kitchen actually work so well.
Yes, you're exactly right.
Yeah.
So where that pocket door was before, we've got these nice wide openings. But that garage door that Bjorn was mentioning that we abandoned was right in the smack middle of this wall. So had that door not been eliminated and that flow changed completely, you know, we never would have been able to achieve this really functional big L-shaped kitchen.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay, and so here's a view from that family room on the back side looking through, just to give you another idea of how that connects the space. Oh yes, Sarah said that flooring kind of looked like carpet, so I wanted to be sure. Yes, rest assured, we did not install carpet in the kitchen. It's like the old bathrooms with shag carpet. Let's not go back to that, right? So again, and then one of these last slides here, you'll get another really great view of how this kitchen functions so beautifully now that that garage door is out of the way. This island is about 6 feet long, and maybe, I don't even think it's 2 feet wide, maybe just about 2 feet, but in a space like this, you can really see what a small island can really do for the function of the space. So this slide just details a few details of some design features in this kitchen. Here's a good shot of that appliance garage open. Again, tuck that toaster away. A lot of families love cabinets like this as a message center where they can keep the calendar and phone chargers and things like that. These solid walnut shelves were also made by our local woodworker who made the island tops. My electrician was very cooperative, but asked I never try this again when he had to route out the solid wood shelves for the plug mold and the puck light in this particular project. But we worked as a team and got it done. And then you'll see here a really cool custom barn door that they had made for that back closet in the Nook. So again, all of these wood pieces kind of pulling everything together throughout the main level.
All right, very good. Well, congratulations. You just virtually walked through 2 completed projects that New Spaces has recently done. And I am here to say that us designers, though we'd love to meet with you live and in person, and we truly do enjoy that, in the spirit of keeping everyone safe, we have changed things up a little bit, and we are now conducting virtual design reveals. And keeping with our standard practice, we are revealing, continuing to reveal 3 unique plans, designs to each of our clients. We're sticking with that. We won't change that up. And then after the reveal, we are also moving forward with conducting virtual selection meetings. And with that, what we're doing is, once again, virtually meeting with our clients, keeping them moving towards the creation of their fantastic new space, selecting materials like cabinetry, countertops, flooring, even paint colors. And we're doing that all virtually, doing that all virtually via high resolution images, or even dropping off samples curbside if that's what it takes, and if that makes sense. So simply put, we're continuing to move forward in today's environment, keeping clients moving forward to the creation of that fantastic new space. And we're having fun doing it too. Right,
That's
Jamie?
the thing that I've been impressed with is just how excited people have been to use this technology, see their plans, see the selections, continue to move the projects forward. It's frankly, I think worked better than any of us ever really expected it to. So appreciate Jamie and Sharon really kind of jumping in with both feet to learn this stuff and continue to do a really great job for our clients.
Yeah, I had my first design reveal via Zoom today, and it was great because we could still be face to face and still have the conversation and go through the creative material, and it was awesome. It really felt authentic and almost as good as seeing you guys in real life.
Yes.
And I will note, because there were some questions or some comments earlier in that when we do those meetings, we're using Zoom meeting where everyone will be on camera. For these webinars, we didn't do that because we didn't know if everyone really wanted to be on camera and everyone else see them. So we kind of tried to have some privacy for those of you attending. But during those meetings, yeah, you'll be on camera, you'll be able to see everything. And work back and forth. And like I said, it seems to be working extremely well right now. With that, I'm going to turn it back over to Bjorn here and just kind of talk about the kind of the remodeling consultation. If you are thinking about a project, for how him and Jennifer can help you get started and get your head around what might happen, what possibilities are.
Yeah, so some of you, Jennifer and I have already met with, and some of you have already gone through a little bit of this virtual stuff. But I will say, Jen and I, we talk about this every day, and never in a million years would we have believed that we will be on a phone call, on a video, talking about these possibilities on the first call. But it works. And you guys have also given us the feedback that works really well and it's convenient. So it's really simple. The way we do this is that we simply have you reach out to us over the website and just send us inquiry that you'd like to have a consultation. And what we do from there is we just follow up with you over the phone and get a little bit of an understanding of what you're looking for. And in that conversation, we also ask you to send us some pictures. And what we'll do too is we use a needs, wants, and wish list worksheet that you guys saw as in our presentation. So we'll send that to you ahead of time. And no, we're not giving you homework, but it's just a good way for you to kind of organize your thoughts so that when we do get together for virtual consultation, you have kind of structured that. And if you send us pictures, maybe even video, what Jen and I can do is put our arms and head around what we're dealing with in your house, and we can be much more effective for you in talking about some of the possibilities. So we always say it starts with a good discussion, and it's a discussion about what's possible. We've been at this for a really long time, and like Jen and I sometimes tell you folks is we've been in your house hundreds of times. We really have. So we can help you think it through. And what we'll also do for you at the end of that consultation is that once we got a feel for what might be a good direction, we talk about what is the investment range, what is the budget for the different options that we may have talked about. And that gives you a really good realistic view of what's possible for what investment, and that'll guide your view on how things need to move forward. So it's really simple. We've gotten really good feedback, and you take a phone call on video, and we actually walk through some of the things that you have in your house. So this is complimentary. And like I said, we start with a really good discussion, and then we'll see what happens from there. So turn it over back to you, Sean, and just a quick note here on this slide. You see Jen's contact info and mine. And please give us a ring. If you're thinking about things, that is what we do. We spend some time thinking about possibilities for you, and happy to share whatever we've come across in the past 40 years of New Spaces working on solutions.
Well, thank you. Jordan and Sharon, for kind of talking a little bit about our process. I really believe it's a unique process within this industry of how we're there to help people just really make very informed decisions as they go along through the process, so that they ultimately get to the project and the budget that they are comfortable with. And you know, we heard fortunately from Marlene earlier about how happy she was with her project, and that's our goal on every project. So if we can help you, if this is something you're thinking about, absolutely want to help you. Also want to let you know that we are going to be doing home tours of various projects once a week for at least the next month here. We know a lot of people are interested in seeing projects and like this type of stuff. So if you got friends, or if you're interested, again, please let us know or share that information, our Facebook page, our website, so that they can get that information. We're always excited to show off our work, and really happy you were able to join us.